So I'll be showing you guys today how to measure scapular motion using the easy angle. The scapula moves in 3 different planes, the first one being the scapular plane, and that's for upward downward rotation. The second plane is the sagittal plane. That's when the scapula moves into anterior posterior tilt. And the third one is the transverse plane, and that's when the scapula is moving into internal and external rotation. So we'll start with scapular upward rotation. So when we think of the scapular plane, we want to make sure that we're into 30 degrees when we're calibrating. So first make sure that the easy angle is blinking. That means it's ready to calibrate. We're going to come down to the floor. And like I said, we want to make sure we're in about 30 degrees of the frontal plane. Then when we're ready, we'll hit the A button. And the A button is when you're calibrated and your 0 is set. So we hit it, it's set to 0. Now we're going to come up. We're going to palpate the spine of the scapula because it's the most prominent aspect of the scapula and easiest to palpate. So right there, that's our spine of the scapula. It's a nice little bony area. We use these bottom peg of the easy angle to approximate with the spine of the scapula. So he's resting in about 4 degrees of upward rotation. So go ahead and elevate your arm as high as you can. Good, now he's at 35 degrees. So 35 minus 4 is 31. So his scapula upwardly rotated 31 degrees. So now we're gonna do the sagittal plane. So that's for anterior posterior tilt. And we wanna make sure again that the easy angle is back to 0 and blinking. So it's ready to calibrate. We're gonna use the wall as our base for 0 and our starting point. So when we're ready and we have it against the wall just like this in a vertical position, we'll click the 0 and we'll come to the medial border of the scapula. So the medial border, again, is really easy to palpate. So you just find that medial border, and then this part of the easy angle is actually gonna come in contact with that medial border. So he's resting in about 34 degrees of anterior tilt, and then I'm gonna have him elevate his arm. So he's staying in close contact, and then now it's at 11 degrees. So 34 minus 11 is 23. Go ahead and relax. So he posteriorly tilted 23 degrees. Now we'll do the transverse plane. So that's when the scapula goes into internal external rotation. And to calibrate the easy angle for this one, make sure that it's back to blinking 0. We're gonna come to the wall and we're gonna set it in this horizontal position. And then we'll click the A button to make sure it's at 0. We're gonna come back over to the spine of the scapula, that bony area right there, and then we're gonna use this bottom peg to come in contact with the spine of the scapula. So he's resting at about 30 degrees in the frontal plane. So I'm gonna have him elevate his arm up as high as he can. So now we're at about 17 degrees. So 30 minus 17 is 13 degrees. Go ahead and relax. And that's the excursion that he's moving into external rotation. So those are the 3 different motions of the scapula, and we're all measured with the easy angle.